Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of the Counterstrike Casuals podcast. We are back here for your weekly dose of casual chat and nonsense. Big week in Counter-Strike. I've actually run out of Counter-Strike related merchandise and t-shirts to wear, so I am just wearing a bog standard black t-shirt this week. So apologies and sorry to disappoint.
That's a point, actually. I was thinking, I'm sure you're going to run out soon.
Well, yeah, soon I'll just be doing it naked. Maybe if we get like 100 subscribers or something, I'll do it naked. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it may go the opposite way if you do that.
Let's lose them all. It's fine. We'll stick to our 27. We're happy. So big week in Counter-Strike. I think we're just gonna have to get into it. There's been loads going on. The major start, the last ever Counter-Strike Go major. If we hear that one more time, my head will explode. Every single bit of analysis. Oh, he's just planted and defused the bomb for the last ever Counter-Strike Go major. It's like, yep, we get it. Brilliant. It is the last ever major.
Every team that gets eliminated, it's like, oh, we're not going to see them in another CSGO major.
And you know, as soon as CS2 comes around, it's just going to feel exactly the same with prettier graphics and weirder smokes. So, you know, it is what it is. So, how much have we watched of the major? What's been happening? I smashed day one because it was a Monday, wasn't it? Bank holiday Monday here in the UK. So we had the whole day off.
The coronation.
Yeah, God save the king, aka Carrigan. Well, actually, I saw Into the Breaches. Thomas has been using God save the king, to be fair. So maybe he's going to be the new king. And I have actually got I got a Thomas sticker that I think I might have put on one of my guns. So yeah,
maybe I do think if Into the Breach win this major, there should be another bank holiday for them.
Mate, let's get on that. You know my emailing skills. I'll be happy to be pushing that forward and trying to get that at least discussed in Parliament. I think you need like 100,000 signatures for something to be discussed in Parliament, and so I'll get that. Don't worry. So watched a bit of the first few days, and then I had to go to work and actually do my day job, and sadly Counter-Strike Casuals doesn't pay the bills yet, so you know, had to do my job, and I had to only keep up via Twitter, you texting me, and just general like
I was also working, but I was keeping on track with it while you were working your ass off. I wasn't working my ass off. I was working as little as possible and texting you every update to pretty much everything that was going on.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. It was helpful. So day one, let's break this down with days. I guess we won't like talk about every single thing that happened because my head's already exploded. But the first game I obviously watched was the first one, which was Monty FaZe. FaZe won, not that convincingly. I actually tweeted it was 16-14, and I tweeted just being like, FaZe still just look like a bit fatigued and tired, even like after their like rest between RMRs and now, but you know, they got the win. Greyhound came back from, I can't remember what the score was. They were playing Forza, and I might be able to quickly check. I don't know if I'd be bothered to do it quickly while we're on the game. What is it for? 1, 2, 3. So the first half was,
They ended up winning.
the first half was 12-3 to Forza.
Okay.
So they had 3 rounds in the first half. And the thing was, I think I wasn't watching the game, I was watching the other stream. I can't remember who else was playing. And then I was like, shit, that's the better game. And then I caught the last second, like the bit where they started coming back. And then in the second half, Forza only got 2 rounds. So in one single-handed swoop, they fucked my pick'ems because I had Forza 3-0 and Greyhound 0-3. So never listened to me, obviously. That did that, and I think ruined a lot of people's pick'ems. Greyhound, talk about them in a bit because they were a weird one the whole week. G2 also won. Well, they were what was the G2 result? Because G2 were losing as well at some
G2
point.
beat the Mongols 16-11.
11. That's quite.
Yeah.
It's quite tight. I mean, against the
For
Mongols.
the Mongols, I mean, the Mongols have been really up and down for me. I feel like they really hit and miss, but they got eliminated, didn't they? Eventually, they lost against Greyhound as well in the third game, which was pretty shocking. Maybe Greyhound had something to prove after they lost 16-0.
Yeah. But again, in that game, the Mongols were winning as well at halftime. It was 9-6, so it was tight, but they were winning. G2 came back and won.
Which I have a little fact for you. That 16-0 that Greyhound lost. That's the only second team to ever lose 16-0 in a major.
Really?
Do you know who the other team is that have actually done it twice? They've beat someone 16-0 in a major.
No,
I'll give you a guess.
It must be Astralis.
They've done it twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Astralis.
When in doubt, the answer is Astralis.
Yeah, they did it to literally. So Apex, which beat Greyhound 16-0, are the second team to ever do it in a major. Astralis did it in 2018 in London, and they did it against C9 in 2019 as well.
Yeah, mad. Yeah, that's it. That's the counterstrike quiz default answer. When in doubt, Astralis it. Well, that was kind of day one in a nutshell, I guess. That was like the most exciting thing, wasn't it? The 16-0.
Well, Ents and OG played. The Ents won 16-6. OG have really disappointed me. I don't know if I was the only person to have any expectations. I didn't expect them to do well, but I expected them to get through the Challengers stage.
Yeah, I think
my pick'em's pretty bad.
I had them as well. So yeah, I think a lot of people would have thought though they what were the results? So they lost to Ents. That's not. I mean, Ents went 3-0.
Ents were good,
strong. And then OG.
Who surprised you the most? Either way, they played bad or they played good.
Well, I think Mouse surprised me the most with how badly they played, and I think everyone felt that way because they just didn't turn up right. I mean, they lost to Nip, then they lost to the OG, and then Gamer Legion. Gamer Legion probably. I didn't think Gamer Legion were going to qualify at all. Didn't have them in my pick'ems. They ended up going through. They took the hard route and they took it right to the end, but they still went through. So probably Gamer Legion and Mouse, I think.
They were your biggest surprises.
Yeah,
probably the same. I thought they were gonna. Every stage I thought, oh, they'll get eliminated. Even they lost against the Mongols, to be fair, and then they beat Mouse 2-0, which I was surprised at. And then they beat OG and knocked OG out, which was frustrating. And then they played Fours and beat them 2-0.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were. I agree with you. I think they were a surprise.
Yeah.
They might be my 0 and 3 for my Legend stage. So
what, Gamer Legion? I think that's the safe pick, isn't it?
Yeah, I've not done it yet.
Well, when we come, we'll talk about that at the end, and I can tell you about mine. But I think that's probably the safer pick. Although, don't know now, they might use these results and go on and use it to build momentum. Also, Liquid, fucking Liquid. I think everyone, they just scraped by, but beat Greyhound. But then
go on.
I was gonna say Greyhound as well. Greyhound, the most inconsistent people, man. Fucking Greyhound.
They messed up a lot of people's pick'ems.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Thorin wasn't happy about it.
Yeah, well, Thorin. Well, what it was I think Thorin tweeted, didn't he? About what did he say? He was like, "Oh, if the best you can do at a major is like ruin pick'ems, then like fuck off or something." And then Vexite, the young geezer, just tweeted a bronze coin. Like, you got shit pick'ems. And then Torrent just went on an absolute mad one, ripping into his stats and his looks. And the geezer's 18 years old, as in the player. Torrent's like, fuck knows how old, some old...
So Torrent is...
geezer.
He's an ex-player, right? and he's like an
I don't know.
esports.
I don't think is he.
I don't know if he used to play, but he's an esports journalist anyway. For those that don't know, and that's his favorite quote. For those that don't know, but yeah, I think he's bang out of order, man. The kid's 18, gamer, and he just started saying he was shit, and proper started laying into him. And I don't know how old he is, but he must be late 30s.
Yeah, he's
Mid to late 30s, I reckon.
I think it's fair to call him out, Vexite, for like maybe not having the best stats or not playing that well, because that's Torrent's job, I guess, as like an analyst, journalist guy. But then he just started going on his looks and stuff, and then you're like, it's more just like cringe, like, oh fucking hell, like this is what your journalistic approach has come to. And then it's all well and good, because I think Torrent takes this route with a lot of things where he's like really aggressive. We're like the fucking Simon Cowell of CS or esports. But then it's all well and good. But then if no one wants to sit in a room and have a beer with you or invite you to an event, like, what's the fucking point? You just sit at home on Twitter. You're like Donald Trump and Simon Cowell's love child, just like sat at home on Twitter, just like giving it the biggin.
It's just bang out of order. Like the guy's 18 for one. If you want to say, "Oh, you're not very good, you're not performing, you're shit," whatever, that's fine. But like you said, don't start laying into his looks and just being over aggressive with it as well. Like it's just a kid. You're just being far too aggressive with him. And to me, he just seems like the type of guy that's never had a slap. And I feel like he needs one. Do you know what I mean? He's just way too aggressive. He needs a slap.
So, as you know, I'm always trying to grow the podcast any way I can, promoting it. And so now maybe I'm going to have to email Torrent. The funny thing about this is I already know that his DMs are closed because I couldn't find a way to DM him. not related to setting up a fight with you and him. But now we've got an idea, charity boxing match for the channel. The charity's the channel. And it's Brly versus Torrent.
Yeah,
best of three, because he loved best of three. 3 rounds. He was tweeting about the layout, which, to be fair to him, is also a fair comment. He tweeted about how as soon as it went to best of 3 in the first week, a lot of the shitter teams got found out, that's a fair comment and sensible. The best of 1 games are mental, absolutely fucking mental. Like, anything can happen in one map. So I do feel like that was a fair comment, and you did start to see some of the better teams shine through then. But yeah, what else was going on? We got a bit sidetracked there talking about Torrent and setting up your boxing fight with him. So day 1 done. What happened day 2? What happened? FaZe lost to Ents, and that secured Ents' qualification through to the Legend stage. I don't think that's too shocking, really. I think FaZe looked shaky against Monty, and then they beat Payne only by 4 rounds, and we all know what FaZe have been like recently. It's fine, whatever. I'm saying it's fine mainly for myself. It's fine. But Ents went 2-0, and that took them through. Same as G2. Went 3-0, and that took them through. And G2 did the same.
G2 were my boys.
Yeah, you had them as your pick'ems 3-0, and that's a great shout.
Yeah, so last episode we talked about our pick'ems. We mainly just did the 3-0 ones, and mine was sweet. G2 went 3-0, and Fluxo,
yeah,
went 0-3. So they were spot on, but the rest of my pick'ems weren't great.
Was shit.
I had OG, Mouse, Falls all going through and didn't. Which, to be honest, I'm still not mad at myself. But I think they should have gone through, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, G2 a great shout. They beat Mongols, Complexity, and then Apex. And actually, Apex put in a good performance overall, and G2 beat them 2-0. I didn't watch the game, so I can't really comment on how well the actual intricacies of the game went, but good result, and they went through. What else? That's also when Mouse got eliminated with Fluxo, and yeah, I do think Mouse were probably the biggest disappointment for everyone. I reckon they were probably in the most people's pick'ems to be to go through, and didn't. So it's a shame.
Yeah, and then day 3, So then, Ents and G2 went through. Sorry, did you already mention that?
Yep.
Then the next day we had FaZe beat Force 2-0. They got through on the Legend stage. NiP went through on the Legend stage. Apex, they knocked out Pain.
Well, they beat Pain.
The next stage,
Went to the next stage.
And then OG got eliminated by GL, Gamer Legion. Mongols lost to Mont. And Complexity have been a bit of a letdown. I feel like they've got some fairly biggish names. They've been a bit of a letdown, I feel like.
Who's that, sorry?
Complexity.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually know much about Complexity. I know a lot of people have been hyping them up, and I think the start of the year they had a good little run, or they were looking like they were going to be performing, but they didn't.
No, they've been shocking.
And weren't they in the Melbourne thing?
Yeah.
They were shocking in that as well.
Yeah, I'm not been happy with them. They got eliminated. And then, on the final day, Gamer Legion got through, Mont got through, and Team Liquid got through by the skin of the teeth.
Yeah, I'm glad Monty got through. They were in my pick'ems to go through, not the 3-0 Forza were. Actually, just going back and rewinding, mad mental game Forza, which was basically Russia versus Ukraine. Forza dominated Monty 16-6, and we're not going to get into politics because we're casual.
Yeah, we're not about that.
No, but they were tweeting, and Torrid even tweeted them as well, being like, Monty can't even handle Twitter. How are they going to handle a major or something? Because they started tweeting some.
He likes to stir the pot, doesn't he?
Mate, I feel like it's been a week of watching the major and then just watching Torrens tweets. I just sitting back and just lolling to myself a bit. Yeah, and then so who did we actually end up going through? Ents, G2, FaZe, NiP. We've not even spoken about NiP. What the fuck is NiP all about, mate?
Don't get me started on NiP. I don't know why. I don't know if I was pissed when I made my fantasy team, but for some reason I had 2 NiP players on my fantasy team, and they've been dog.
I had
shit.
config, to be fair.
Yeah, I configured. It wasn't really performing that well.
I don't even know where I ended up with my fantasy, but yeah.
Problem. I had a terrible time with my fantasy team, but yeah, they've been rubbish. I don't even know how they got through. I mean, probably because they played Greyhound in the to get through.
Yeah, and they're OG. And they beat Mouse. To be fair, their hardest game was Ents, and they lost
16-9.
Yeah, and then the rest of the games they won. I mean, you'd say Mouse first, but then you'd say Mouse were. This is where the best of 1 and the best of 3 debate might come in, because Mouse, who a lot of people had as one of their teams to go through, lost in the first day to NiP best of 1. Yeah, so 1 map. Then they lost to OG best of 1, so 1 map. They did then lose 2-0 to Gamer Legion, but at that point they're fucking already like on the downs. They're already like the pressure's on at that point.
Yeah, but in the same respect, Gamer Legion had just lost to Complexity and Mongols, and then they went and beat Mouse 2-0 on 2 maps.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any excuse for Mouse. I think it's just fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
What was that?
Fair enough. I can tell. And NiP. Not happy with NiP either. Well, yeah, but to be fair, so NiP then lost to Ents. So actually, it feels like it wasn't a good result for NiP, but I don't know why. It's weird. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
They only lost to Ents, who fucking did what they needed to do against everyone, and quite convincingly, other than the FaZe match, which went 2-1.
Yeah, I guess they've not played anyone that decent. The only takeaways I would have from this really are FaZe still aren't 100% on it, even though they got through. I don't feel like they're 100% there yet, but hopefully they'll get there. G2 smashed it, and Nico, from what I remember, wasn't playing himself.
Yep.
He wasn't he wasn't smashing it like we know he can. So if he can perform, G2 can go a long way. They can do well. Who else has surprised me and done quite well? Ents has done well.
Ents has done well. I think with Ents, I had them as my one to go through. So I knew they were going to go through, but yeah, they just did their job, didn't they? They're looking good. Are they a title contender? Or they contended to win it now? They might be on that kind of periphery of the G2 phase heroic. You know, I mean, what's their world ranking? I don't even know where they are in the world at the moment. Where are they? They're 9th, so top 10 team. You know, yeah.
Who was your player of the tournament up to now?
Up to now.
m0NESY.
Well, I did have m0NESY in my fantasy team, and he smashed it. Yeah, probably. I feel like it's an easy one just to say, isn't it? But he did play well. There's a few, like, when you see more games of certain players, even if they're not playing that well, they're just sticking in your mind more, right? Like your Kinder through Liquid. But I saw more of him because he was playing more games. But yeah, I guess m0NESY is just fucking... It's fun just to say m0NESY, isn't it?
Yeah, Rob's been playing well.
Yeah, I saw Naf as well for Liquid turn up on a few maps. He was shit. At one point, he was like 0 I think I texted you. I can't remember what game it was. He was like 0 12. Like really bad, but then he turned it around and started playing really well, actually. Actually, on one map on Nuke, he held ramp like a boss. Like, no one was getting down ramp. It was mental. I've never seen it before. And then actually I heard one of the player interviews after say that they would look at NAF for holding ramp. Like that, they trained how to hold ramp by looking at NAF. Yeah, it was fucking mad. Also, the geezer from Fours was good as well. What's his name? Looks proper, like shaven. Like looks like a fucking supermodel. This geezer. It looks like he's gonna like steal your wife and everything.
Steal your girl.
Yeah.
From Fours.
From Fours, yeah, he was good. He was playing really well in a few games. Hang on. Fuck.
Let me see.
Are you now just looking at the team and thinking who's the most attractive member of Fours?
Oh, Zort. Are you talking about?
Zort.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played well.
Yeah, well enough. They got knocked out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But he did play well. Overall, good week. Loads of counterstrike.
Yeah, it's been fun, mate. Today's like the only day we've not had any, so we've had a bit of a chill day. And it's like we were saying last week, when you have like a day off, it feels like you've had a week off.
Yeah, and didn't you mention there was games going on anyway?
Yeah, Mont are playing right now, I think. I'm pretty sure they're playing right now. Yeah, they're playing an online ESL tournament against Eyeballers. They're winning.
I mean, that's mental.
Best of 3 as well. So they've won the first map, and they're currently...
and it's not even the academy or anything, it's actual Monty, yeah.
Yeah, 15-11 up. But there's a few other teams that are in the major that are playing tonight, which just surprised me.
So, are they going to...
They're not playing.
They're not playing?
No, I said there's other teams playing tonight, but there's other teams that are in the major that are also in this tournament.
So what, they'll be playing that from Paris then? They'll just be... Where would they be playing that? In the hotel room? The fuck?
Yeah, they must... Yeah, I don't know. I guess they'll figure it out, but they've not even got a coach, have they? But
and
they're just playing so much Counter-Strike at the minute.
Yeah, well, when they played FaZe, I think I tweeted, because the map was ancient and FaZe had a better win percentage, but Monty had played the map like 20 more times than the last 3 months or something. It was like fucking stupid. They still lost. But so with Monty playing in that game now then for the ELSL Challenger, they're not going to they're 15-11 up against eyeballers. Yeah, so you can already tell like their fingers they're not on it, right? They're just using that as just like a scrim, isn't it? It's just like a practice game. They're not going to be taking that seriously, really. They're not going to be bothered if they, I don't know. Well, surely they're going to win, but it seems to me bizarre that they're playing that in the middle of a major. Anyway, so that's the first week. Today there was nothing going on.
Yeah, first week done. Now we're on the Legend stage. So all the big boys are playing, and we've got some massive games coming up tomorrow. It's actually a bit ridiculous. Heroic and FaZe are playing against each other.
Yes.
Who knows who's going to win that? Vitality and G2.
How does that actually happen as well? So it's a bit weird.
It's just the way the seedings worked. We've got
there could be so much better matchups there though. Like if you look at it,
Heroic, but they just swap the seedings, don't they? Like
yeah, I guess.
Like FaZe and G2 have come up from. Yeah, we've got into the breach against Apex. Who knows who's going to win that?
Well, I think Apex might win that now because they're looking.
Well, I think they should, yeah, but I mean, it's still up in the air. Fnatic and Nip, even Furia and Mont.
Well, while we're on the subject of the next stage, then Pick'ems. You haven't done yours, or you have done them?
I haven't done mine.
Okay,
yet.
So I've done mine, and again, we won't go into like everything because it's boring. 3-0 pick. I've gone for Navi because so before I was trying to be all like hipster, fucking cool, get like a coin, and I was like mashing up like all the people that are actually in the know to make my pick'ems, but then it was shit. So I've just gone full out. Well, fuck it. Navi will probably win at least 2 of their games, hopefully 3 to make it 3-0. So I've gone Navi 3-0, and then I've gone because Can
I tell you I'm not happy about this?
Yeah, I know. Wait, so
I know your theory, but I'm still not happy.
The theory between my 0 and 3 is whenever I bet on anything in Counter-Strike, or if I do pick'ems or whatever, the absolute opposite happens for this stuff. So I've done Into the Breach 0 and 3, despite us obviously backing Into the Breach to the death. The fact that I've picked them should serve as confidence that they probably will go 3-0 now. They're going to win the fucking thing. Actually, I should put like 100 quid on them, they'll win it. No, I put 100 quid on them to go out in the first round, they'll win it.
Yeah. Well, don't do that, please.
No. So those are my 3-0s and 0 and 3. Navi 3-0, Into the Breach 0 and 3. Not going to go into the rest of it because it's boring. But you can go on Twitter and see it if anyone actually cares.
Yeah, I'll do the same, just to confirm. Not Into the Breach. I'm going to go Navi, and I'm probably going to go... who was I looking at? Gamer Legion to go 0 and 3.
Yeah, I think that's a sensible pick.
Yeah. So have you got any, like, let's not go fully in, but do you have anything to say about the Legend stage? Any predictions, anyone to look out for?
I think Ents probably after their performance, they got Bad News Eagles first. They should win that. I think the exciting games are obviously Heroic FaZe. We're going to watch Heroic FaZe surely. What time is it? 1:30 tomorrow. What's happening in my actual life tomorrow? Fuck. I've got a day of gardening.
Well, there's going to be loads of top games tomorrow. I feel like there's going to be a lot of games. Apart from Navi Gamer Legion, which is going to be pretty much Navi's going to run away with it.
Yeah, it should do.
The rest of them look like they're going to be pretty close games.
But Heroic FaZe is a rematch of the final we saw in Copenhagen, right? So that's
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I kind of want Heroic to win, and you're going to want FaZe to win. So
yeah, well, because
I like FaZe too, but I do like
Heroic won it when we watched them, and to be fair, they deserved it. But yeah, Heroic FaZe big game, Vitality G2 sick games. So I think those are the two I'm going to probably aim to tune in for because I've got to pick my battles. Being a casual watcher.
So when is this episode going to go out?
We're going to try and get this episode out tonight in an ideal world.
Okay, so
ahead of these.
Yeah, if anyone's listening, it'll probably be tomorrow. So it'll be the day of. So today.
Yeah.
Yeah, just try and watch those games if you can, because they're going to be sick.
Yeah. So that is the major wrapped up for the first week, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interestingly, as the podcast continues to grow and take shape and reach all new audiences, which, you know, we can't control it. It's out of control now. We received actually some questions, which we haven't. Generally, we've not written these. I have to put this disclaimer out. We actually have not written these and made this up. Which was from someone that's basically said, "Oh, if you ever do a Q&A, answer these questions." So, look, we're going to answer some of these. Some of them, you know, thanks us for asking, but I'm gonna merge them so they're not as pointless. He said that, so we're now in the Q&A section for the avoidance of doubt for anyone.
You should have done a transition. Maybe next time we do a Q&A, you can do a little transition.
Next time, yeah. We need to get the graphic designers on that. What happened to Brly's breakdown while we're at this? What the fuck? So, episode 1, you talked about new maps versus old maps in Counter-Strike 2. How do you guys feel about some old maps being remade and brought into Counter-Strike 2? How about an official Rats map in Counter-Strike 2? So...
Let's ignore the Rats bit. We'll ignore that bit.
Yeah.
But the old maps coming into CS2, I think it's really good. I think it mixes it up a bit. The more Counter-Strike I play, the more I enjoy playing the newer maps that have been brought out.
Or a variety of maps, yeah.
But I will also like playing the old maps as well. Just, yeah, like you say, just the variety. Just playing different maps, learning new angles, new positions.
You are a Dust 2 king, aren't you? You are a Dust 2 king. We only ever seem to win on Dust 2 with you.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a good rate on Dust 2. It's the OG. It's the OG. But I'm excited. I'm excited about these old maps coming back in.
Yep. I hope they do spend some time on some of the more forgotten maps.
I liked Prodigy. Do you remember Prodigy?
Yeah, I loved Prodigy. It was one of my favourite ZZ maps.
Maybe they could remake that. They might need to alter.
Hold that thought then. So his second question was, if you could design your own map for Counter-Strike 2, what would it be? What game type and setting would it be? Which my answer for this was probably just remaking some old classics from 1.6 or Condition Zero, which you might hear Condition Zero a lot on this podcast, and that is because it actually is the best Counter-Strike game. When you go back and actually play it, Condition Zero is the best game. We won't get into why. Maybe we'll have a whole podcast about that. But I think...
we'll get a lot of pushback for that.
Yeah. I think we should go back, play 1.6, Condition Zero, and Source and Go, and then CS2 when CS2's out. And generally we rate which one's better. In fact, that's a good idea. No one steal that. All of the content creators out there that's listening. Yeah. Sorry, so if you could design your own CS2 map, what would your game type and setting be? For me, it would be. I'm not creative enough to think like this. I would just be redesigning old maps. Prodigy is a great shout. I enjoy Prodigy a lot. In fact, also when we were together for a LAN recently, right? Or well, it was actually last year. We went to our friend's house. We installed CZ and we played Prodigy. Do you remember?
Yes, actually, yeah, vaguely. We'd had a few too many, but I do remember.
Yeah. So
yeah,
we played.
I missed it.
It was good. I would like to see some older maps brought into CZ or CS2 and remade. Aztec. I loved Aztec.
There's still a lot that could work because he's put examples as Stadium. Stadium was a map which was okay. Mall, like a mall, airport, and Jamaica. I think loads can work, but it tends to be like the outdoory maps that work quite well.
Yeah, confined spaces.
Nuke's okay, yeah.
Oh,
I do think Stadium would be a good shout, but you would have to have it a bit more open than normal.
Yeah. But he's on a map thing because he also asked. You mentioned that hostage maps aren't currently used in competition. Why is this? Is there any chance we might see classic source maps such as Assault or Compound in CS2? No. The only way I thought this might work is whether you changed hostage maps to defuse maps or bomb maps. Italy and Office are actually two of my favourite maps of all time. They're just sick maps. When did you go back and play them from a casual point of view? Obviously, I'm not talking global elite ranked hostage. Like, I don't even know if people play that, but Italy and Office are amazing. And if you could actually just, let's take Italy for example, swap the spawns, change where CT spawn at the top of the map to like a bomb site, and then I don't know, bomb site and like apps, or halfway between there and apps, like, and make parts of it bigger. I think they would actually make a really good defuse map or bomb map, and I would definitely play that. I'm actually in the mood to play Italy now. Yeah, what's your thought on hostage maps then? Assault, man, everyone loves Assault. It's just...
Yeah, Assault was a cool map. I used to have fun playing that. Like you say, I enjoyed
Is that the one with the big warehouse?
Yeah, there's hostages inside, and you can
come in through the top of the vents.
Yep, you can get on the buildings outside. You can get on that bridge. Yeah, I enjoyed those maps.
What's the other one where it's out? It's like a big house outside hostage. Military. That one, military one. It's called Militia, or I don't know. It's like an outside house, and there's also an underground.
What type of?
It's a hostage map. It's a hostage map. Hang on.
Well, you look for that. I'll put my 2 cents in. I don't. Yeah, like you say, I think if you change them into a defuse map, then yeah, it could work. But no, hostage maps would not work on the pro scene. There's just, people CTs would just be camping out. It'd be way too easy. I
think they're all too confined as well, aren't they? That's the issue. That's your issue with it. But now we're talking about it after this podcast, I'm well in the mood to play some hostages maps.
Yeah, I feel like it. Yeah.
Might as well just go try them out and see what happens. But no, I would love to see some old CZ maps be remade. Aztec, mate, and the cobblestone version of Condition Zero version of Cobblestone was sick. Had like a mad like top level roof terrace type thing where do you remember that? Do you ever play Cobblestone where you ran over the top and then you could look down and just like, it was almost like a single player game, like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings or something. You just fire down at everyone below you, look like ants, and just kill everyone. It was sick. What is the best map type, and why is it surf? Only joking. Do you expect maps like this to appear again in CS2? Man, the best map types are just diffuse maps. I'm sorry. The only other game... Go on.
He's saying, like, what do you think about those maps and the people that create them, and do you expect them to appear again in CS2? I don't know if he thinks, like, maybe you don't like people that make surf maps because they're more casual, but I think surf maps and all these climb maps and aim maps, all these things, they all play a part in Counter-Strike, because I used to play a lot more than when I used to spend hours and hours and hours playing Counter-Strike, especially in, like, the older games before CSGO, because we didn't have matchmaking. We would just browse the community servers, and the surfing and the climb maps and the aim maps improve, like, mechanics of CS, and arguably you wouldn't have the movement and the skill and mechanical skill that they have today if it wasn't for those maps. So they're definitely part of the game. Yeah, they're definitely going to come back, and I think the map creation is supposed to be a lot easier in CS2. So I think there's going to be a lot of creators that come back that maybe used to create in in CS, and then they're going to come back because it's supposed to be so much easier and they look so good. I mean, I keep seeing screenshots of the maps they're bringing back and they look so crisp.
What, are you going to play a surf map in CS2?
Let's see. I don't want to say. I don't want to commit because you know how little time I get to games. So if I do have chance, I want I want to play more casual Counter-Strike.
Okay, we'll have this conversation off air, away from the podcast, because you said it yourself, how little time you have to play. Our time is precious because of everything, all our commitments. So when I get on, I just want to hit like proper serious play, don't I? Yeah.
Well, you're on before me, so by the time I get on, you're like, right, let's go, load up, let's go, and we're straight into a game.
I mean, I've never played surf maps, jump maps. The only kind of weird, different thing I would play were like the scout maps or the zombie map that I mentioned to you. So there was a zombie mode in 1.6 and ZZ, maybe even Source. Don't know. Did anyone play Source? Where basically there was like one person that was infected and they'd have to run around. It was just like a zombie mode. It was sick. I'd be up for trying to find that, and by the end of it, it would be like one person left who wasn't infected, and the zombies had like 999 health, and and it was just mental. So that was the only thing I played, and in like scout maps, surfing and stuff. The problem with those maps, like surf maps and jump maps, is they feel too like single playery for me for CS.
I think they're the types of games that I used to play at like 2 a.m. when I was fucking about with my mates and we couldn't be asked playing serious anymore and we were just talking shit and playing actual games. We used to play like time maps just for the fun of it, really. Or we used to play like hide and seek and stuff.
Hide and seek? Was that an actual game mode, or was that just you guys being...
No, it's just us being
really
like kids.
cool.
When I was like 14, 15, we used to, because we had our own servers and stuff, so you can change the gravity and whatnot.
Nice,
and then we just used to fuck about. But yeah, I think those games will appear again, and they'll be fun.
Yeah,
and their own part.
Really won't be playing them. Right, I was shocked at how you describe players. This is the next question, by the way. I was shocked at how you describe players in their early 30s as old. Why is it that players at this age seem to be past their peak? Surely the older players have more hours under their belt, and they just get better and better. Or am I missing something? Slower reaction times, etc. Well, I think you've answered your own question there a bit. Mate, keeping up with an 18-year-old Monacy, if you're, 30-year-old Carrigan, you're fucking no chance. You're just screwed.
Yeah. The older players, they've been playing for, 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day for the past 10 years minimum. They're tired. They're worn out. It's like most sports stars, you can sort of understand them getting burnt out at an age because it's more of a physical activity. But what footballer do you know that plays football for 12 hours a day? Well, and although gaming is not a physical workout, I would challenge anyone that doesn't play professionally to game for 8 hours. You'd be fucking tired mentally. You'd just want to get away from your screen. So if they've been doing it for that many years, it's even more taxing because, physically they're not getting worn out, so their bodies are okay as long as they are getting time away from the screen. Mentally, like it is gonna fuck you up.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think the only way that they get better is their communication and their game sense, right? And
their experience is massive.
Their use of utility. For example, a 30-something-year-old in-game leader like a Carrigan is going to be throwing out more communication and info than he would have done 10 years ago, I imagine. I don't know, I could be wrong, he might be the same, but I imagine he's going to be able to right, Rops or Rain needs to know this very quickly because I've seen this happen if I don't say it when I'm like, I just got killed or whatever. He's going to have more... That's where his skill is going to be over a Monacy or whoever else is young, I don't know. because they're just going to be taking heads, right? They're not going to be thinking about this stuff, so they're just going to take heads and not think about the bigger picture, I suppose, which I think the older players will be thinking of.
I think you've got to think about it as well. When you're in your early 30s and your lifestyle is going to change, you're going to start, wanting to start a family or wanting to think about your next career because it's not going to carry on. Some of your skills are going to slow down, like your reactions. You're not going to be as quick. You're not going to be as on the ball. But like you said, you've still got that experience. So your psychology and your game knowledge and your experience is all there. So what is all that useful for? Coaching. And that's your next step of your career. So a lot of them will retire in their early 30s because they want to look at the next step in their career. They want to keep earning money. They can't just retire at 30 and not earn another penny for the rest of their life. They're going to be thinking, right, what can I do now? They're going to go into coaching or managing or some sort of aspect of the game where they think they're useful, and that's exactly what they're useful at, doing those types of things. And they're not going to keep up with the young boys, and a lot of them want to start families and whatnot. So there's loads of reasons, but yeah, the reactions is going to be a massive one because it's so important.
That's a good point that you said as well about their their mindset as well. Where an older player is probably would you say an older player is less likely to get tilted? I wonder if an older guy who's like Taz or I don't want to keep using Carrigan, but who else is old other than Carrigan and that Taz geezer just retired? I don't know.
How old? What's his name? Oh, that Orpa.
Don't know.
Fuck, what's his name?
But are they more likely to get tilted than
I think
18, 20
I think they're going to be more patient,
That's what I mean. They're going to be more
great counterstrike
as
well.
They're going to have got killed more times in the game, so they're like, "Well, this shit happens."
Yeah.
Now, once I'm dead, let's use the information I've gathered to offer some help, or that's where my skill can translate, I guess. But I don't know. I think that the reaction time is a shooting game, right? And it's a precision shooting game. So if you're not got the reaction times, you're pretty fucked. To be honest with you.
Fallen. That's who I was thinking of. Fallen.
How old is he?
He plays for Imperial. Let's have a look. He's 31.
Yeah, old.
Yeah, he's been in the a while.
Younger than us.
Yeah.
So he also asked, talent aside, who is the coolest motherfucker in the CS competitive community? Who would you most like to just go for a beer with, given the chance? Well, I think given the week we've had, or recent times, my answer is clear. It is Chad. Yeah, Sponge, legend. Let's throw up a beers to him.
What a guy, yeah. Yeah, he's an absolute legend.
I'd love to go for a beer with him. I'm not going to go into why, but...
So he's not a current player, he's an ex-player, and he's also a broadcaster. He does his own podcast, Talking Counter.
Yeah, and he hosts Half-Life, doesn't he? HLTV confirmed, so... To be fair, I assume most people would have heard of those podcasts, but if not, you should check them out, because Chad's a fucking boy. Anyone else? So, what about you? You'll be Chad as well, surely.
Yeah, Chad's top bloke. He's an Aussie guy, and he loves to have a beer, so he'd be a great shout. But I'm thinking of players, current players. We're not like in the scene. We don't know them all that well.
Definitely not Simple.
But I definitely think Simple seems a bit aggy.
Simple's aggy and just smoke a fag in your face.
I think Cadian,
Cadian would be a good one. Cadian's a great shout.
For the casuals that, maybe, I don't know, living under a rock. If you've not watched the documentary, was it Glory, Game and Glory? I think it's called. It's on YouTube. BBC produced it. It's a really good documentary, and you see a lot of Cadian in that. And he just seems like a proper, genuine, nice guy. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He just seems like a proper nice guy. Yeah. I'd go for a pint with him. I know who you're going to say anyway.
Well, I don't know if I actually would, because I don't think Carrigan drinks beer.
And they say don't meet your hero.
They do, yep. Yeah, and I think
Yeah, I've got a funny story actually. I don't know if this is one for the podcast, but my mate who used to love a guy I know, he used to love Gary Neville from Manchester United, and he started working at Manchester United.
Of all the inspiring footballers there could be.
And Gary Neville was talking to another footballer. My friend was like he used to work as like a tender, like a bartender or whatever.
Yeah, barman, tender.
Yeah, but he was like he was tending tables and stuff as well. So
yeah, it's a waiter then. Yeah, fine.
Yeah. So then he went into a room to tidy up or whatever after a do, and Gary Neville was in there talking to another footballer, and they were talking about a new signing. I won't say who it was. Actually, I don't think it matters. It was Vidic, I think. So they were talking about him, and my friend, my friend says, really good at heading the ball as well, isn't he? And Gary Neville just turned around and said, "Who the fuck asked you?" so obviously my mate absolutely hates him now, but he was his idol for years, and he just made me laugh when he told me that story.
Do you know what? Stranger actually rate Gary Neville more now. I was,
what a comment.
It's true though. Who did ask him? He's fucking tied up the fucking table, mate. Well, so on, Carragher might be the Gary Neville of the CS community. I don't know. He might not be very nice.
I can't imagine Carragher talking to you like that, but
you can't talk to your son like that, though, can you? When I see Carragher and say, "Dad," what's happening?
He probably will. He probably will talk to you like that if you call him Dad.
Probably. When we finally decided what next counterstrike tournament we're going to, I'm gonna make it my aim to meet Carragher and just get him on camera, and I'm just going to put a microphone in his face and just say, "Are you my dad?"
Rain seems like a bit of a dude as well.
Rain seems like he'd just fucking knock you out, slap you up for asking for like a dessert at the dinner table. Or, "Dad, can I just go online for a bit and play with my mates?" Just knock you out. Like, no, sorry.
Yeah, he looks like a unit.
He does.
Who's Blame F as well? He's a bit of a unit, but he seems like he's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah. Cadian's a good shout. So going back to the question, so who would like to go up here? Cadian as a player is a very good shout because he just seems animated. He seems like he's got a bit of a personality about him, right? There's a lot of but this happens in sport, and I've said this before because there's a lot of Counter-Strike players I think that can not show much emotion or character or personality, but when you look at elite sports people or elite sportsmen and women, then it sounds bad, but a lot of them are fucking boring by the looks of it. Like they're just so focused on their thing, which is whatever it might be, football, golf, Counter-Strike, whatever. They can't think about anything else. So I think Cadian's a good shout because he just seems to have a bit of personality and oomph about him. Right, let's move on to the final question from our elusive Q&A section, which this VIP sent in. I love how you describe the pros moving into Counter-Strike 2 and the effect it has in the same way a cyclist might describe the marginal gains of changing a piece of equipment or adjusting a training routine. If you had to highlight one aspect of their game that separates a pro from a casual the most, what would it be? Okay. Interesting. So what separates these pros from us? Well,
thousands and thousands of hours
and 15 years of it. I think it is the time. Well, we're just old as fuck. Let's rewind back 10 years then. So we're young, early 20s, 21, 22 and 23 year olds. There's still no real hope, is there, now of becoming a pro, but okay, let's look at this a different way. I think, how would you and me go to Global Elite or face it level 10? That's probably a more realistic question.
The first thing is consistency. I mean, you've got to play and play and play. Why do you have to do that? Because you have to have the muscle memory. You have to have the knowledge. Counter-Strike is a mixture of everything. It's like, I know it's not the answer that everybody wants, but it's a mixture of everything. You've got to. It's reactions, it's movement, it's knowledge, it's muscle memory, it's creativity, it's psychology. There's so many different variants. It's all of those. It's knowing what people will do in certain situations, or what the majority will do. It's a bit like poker. You know, you've got to work out what someone's going to do with the cards they're dealt. The muscle memory is a massive thing, but that just comes with time played. The reaction speed, which I think has been proven that you can't really prove your reaction speed that much once it gets to a certain extent.
Yeah, but I don't think reaction speed or aim is the differential here
between pros and casuals. Yeah, massively. If you get them to do a reaction test, I guarantee all of them will be faster than you.
Yeah. Sorry, but I reworded the question, so that was wrong. So, yeah, you're right. It probably is that is like the raw difference between them. Well, the question is, what separates a pro from a casual? Is it just reaction times and aim must be one of the big ones, I guess. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah,
but also everything really. Like we say with the hours, the easy answer is the hours they put in, but the proper answer is why. The hours they put in, but what difference does that make? It's the knowledge of the maps, the angles that they know how to hold.
That's it. Yeah, I think that's a big thing, isn't it? Like the angles, the knowledge to the movement peaks and knowledge of the peaking. I think is when you actually watch a pro game, the movement is so considered, don't you think? Like that's the one big thing for me. I'm like, fuck me, I'm just like running around like a headless chicken, and actually, for my rank, my aim actually pulls me through a bit, but I'm like in the open, just like, bah, 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 like who knows what's going on.
Well, we play at a low level, so we're kind of the best people to kind of answer this because we watch the pros, but we are very we play at a very low level.
Yeah, but I've seen some 1v1s in this week in particular, and they miss their shots, but they'll still get the kill. Like they'll, and I'll be like, fuck, like that looks slow. So sometimes I don't think it is always the aim or the reactions. I think it can be the movement or the peaking, and the utility usage is miles above what we use. Like the utility is insane. Like
I think it depends. When you ask the question, it depends on the level of the casual. From, I don't even know what it starts at, but from silver, gold to global elite, there's a lot of differences. So if you get a silver player, you might say crosshair placement is the one biggest factor. There's going to be certain big factors. If you look at goals, you might say the utility is a big factor, or just knowing when to reload, when to get a nade out, when to not get a nade out.
Yeah.
What angles to peak, what angles to hold. There's so many different factors, and what it all boils down to pretty much is game time. The more you play, the more you're going to learn, but you have to retain that information and also know what's important and know your odds as well. So if you know your odds on what someone's gonna peak, or the chances of someone holding a certain angle, but also your timings, which again comes from how much you play. So if he's planted the bomb, you know what position he could have got to, depending on what time he planted the bomb at. You know how long it's going to take him to get to a certain position. And if he's not peaked a certain position after a certain amount of time, you can make a judgment call. Okay, so if he's not peaked this angle, he's probably not there, which means he might have rotated all the way around and he might be flanking me. There's loads of different things. I mean, there's so much. It's a difficult question to answer. But
so moving on from that question, and thank you for the Q&A and the questions that guy sent in. Can we become global elite, you and me?
No.
Why not?
We don't have the time.
That is it, yeah. Well, okay, so if we did have more time, how do you think we'd get to global elite?
More hours.
Right, so just more time. That's it.
Yeah.
So you just think there's nothing else we'd need to work on to get to global elite?
I think me personally,
You and me, and I'm saying just you and me, because I think we need more people. I think we need a team.
I think it's so difficult just playing, solo queuing.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible. I think we need a team of 5 to consistently. I agree, play more as well, but consistently play.
I think we could do it if we had Monesi, Robs, and Zaiwu on our team. We could do it.
Yeah, well,
easy.
As long as Simple's not involved, I'm there.
Stop hating on Simple. What's your beef with Simple?
I don't know, mate. I just think he'd proper tilt us out. I think we'd be there, and like if you miss a shot, I think he's aggy. Don't think he's got a vibe, got a little vibe about him. I think we could get to Global Elite. I think we should make that a challenge, but we need a team of 3 others. That's the issue.
Got a long way to go, mate.
If anyone's listening that wants to team up with us for a Global Elite push before Counter-Strike 2, we're on. What rank are we? I don't know what rank we are.
I've no idea. Like just above gold.
LMG, GGMs, or whatever they are.
Yeah, those types of.
We've got AKs. Don't you worry. Nice. Okay. So, anything else we want to? Are you finding? I thought about this today when I was driving. That since we started this podcast, you're consuming a lot more Counter-Strike content. To the point where I'm reading or listening or reading loads of stuff now. Like, I'm almost verging on. I could be past casual, but I'm not because I'm still casual. Because then I read half of it and go, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I think we will always be casuals because we've not been this in depth in the CS scene for long enough.
Yes.
We're in depth in the scene now. If we'd been this in depth in the scene for a few years, I won't put a number on. But if we'd been proper into it for a few years, then I could say we're not casual, but we'll be casuals. I don't think we have the time not to be.
So on this journey or this ongoing podcast journey, I'm listening to so many podcasts as well, and there's actually some really good ones out there. And what I'm finding, especially with the Counter-Strike ones, is like they're all filling a little like pocket of. You got Half-Life TV, very professional and like real insider to the point on the professional scene. Talking Counter, it's a bit more relaxed and a bit more casual. You've got some of the other ones, the Truth one that I found today, a lot more like interviewee and fact-based stuff with some players. So I'm hoping we're filling some kind of void of just fucking noobs offering an opinion on the game, I guess. But I'm excited about this journey. This is a weird episode 6 reflection time for me right now, where I'm just talking about how I feel. But
I like it.
Yeah. Well, I thought
let it out, mate.
I thought when I get to episode 5, I might be a bit like, oh, it's not a chore, but I wasn't sure how it's going to go. But it's becoming the highlight of my week. So there you go.
No, I'm really enjoying it too. I think it's like I've said to you numerous times. Let's just do it because we enjoy it. We're not doing it for any other reason. If people watch it, that's fine. But I'm happy to continue doing it, whether we get 0 viewers or 100, 100,000. I don't care.
It's just for us, very vain. All right, so let's wrap this up. So tomorrow we've got the Legends stage starting. Brilliant. I've just also remembered, I think I've got my mother-in-law turning up. So I don't know how much I'm going to be able to watch. I really want to be able to watch Heroic Phase, Vitality G2, because, fun. I would like to watch the Into the Breach Apex as well. I don't know, I might have to sack... The Heroic Phase and Into the Breach Apex are on at the same time. So which one are you watching?
Well, I'm going to be working like I do every day of my little life. But I might have something on in the background if possible. What did he say he's on at the same time?
Heroic Phase and Into the Breach Apex on at the same time. Because we're obviously here for Into the Breach, aren't we? That's the problem.
Maybe I'll switch between the two and just stick on whichever is the closest.
I might. Oh, it's an awkward time.
That's the one as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So anything could happen, man. Into the Reach might take that. Anyway, right. Let's wrap this up here. This is the longest podcast I've ever recorded at 1 hour and 5. So we're 15 minutes over the last one. Not that anyone's counting other than me. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of the major.
Yeah, I would say anyone that's got any comments on the podcast, pros, cons.
Sorry, sneeze.
Any questions? Don't worry, bud. Any questions, anything like that, just fire them over. Send them to us personally. Most people know us. If not, just drop it in the comments. We'll be happy to have anyone's opinions.
Yeah, man. And enjoy the rest of the major. We will catch up with you all next week. Thank you for tuning in. The legends.
Are we going to play some games now or what?
Yeah, we can play some games. Hostage
Yeah,
maps, mate.